Hi to all you wonderful HR professionals in Kenya, and I so wish I could be with you in person at the moment. Africa is very dear to my heart, but alas, we're not traveling too far at the moment. I'm Lesley Everett, and I'm a specialist in personal branding, and I developed a brand called Walking Tall. I'm only 5'1.5", so Walking Tall came from my original book on the whole topic of personal branding. So I'm delighted to be able to just spend a few minutes with you today, just introducing the topic of personal branding. And it's something that's been very dear to my heart for the last 15, 16 years. And I developed a methodology for people in business to differentiate themselves authentically and be able to package and project that brand that they build consistently and effectively in order to build visibility and profile and also to advance careers. So I'm hoping that this will be useful to all of you individually. It may be useful to your teams of the people that you help to develop within your own organizations. And I often feel that HR professionals are the ones that do all the work for everybody else's career and help them develop along the way. But actually you get very little for yourself in return. So these next few minutes are for you. And I'm just going to distill down to 3 key areas that I think are really important right now for you to think about with your personal brand, just to get you thinking, what can you do practically? How can you get started? So I hope it's going to be useful for you. I think one of the things to start with is that we all know that a personal brand is important, but we often don't know where to start. It's too overwhelming, or I don't have the time to do it. I don't really know what to do first. So hopefully I can give you a few pointers to get started. It is, of course, an evolving process, and it should evolve over a period of time as you add layers to it. The first thing I want to say to you is, though, do you know what people say about you behind your back? Do you know what people say about you when you're not there, when you've left the room? How they talk about you when you finish the meeting, when you finish the presentation? Because those words, that powerful collection of ideas and thoughts that they have about you, is your personal brand. So your brand is there already, whether you've consciously developed it or consciously thought about it or not. And it's quite simply what people say about you when you've left the room or behind your back. And we know people talk about us all the time because we're constantly reminded of this. We might talk to somebody or meet them for a coffee and they say, I was in a meeting the other day and your name kept cropping up. And you think to yourself, I'd really like to know what was said, but you don't really like to ask. But it reminds you that you are talked about when you're not there. So 3 key tips to give you to think about. And the first thing is, I believe in the world we're in today, we need to be talked about. We need to have people talking about us, but in a way that we control. Referrals are so important for our career, for our businesses. And if we're not making it easy for people to talk about us, then we're not making it easy for people to refer us. So how much time and effort do you put into really thinking about what it is that differentiates you, what it is that makes you stand out from the crowd? What are your unique combination of strengths and skills and characteristics that really define who you are? It's something that we don't think about enough. And I would say, think about what your expert insights are into the work that you do. All of you are HR professionals. You all do a similar job, but you all do it in a different way. And I want you to think about what makes you great at the work you do because of your experience, because of your the challenges you've gone through in your life and your career, because of your personality traits, the uniqueness of the brand, the golden thread that runs through you. And it's important to set aside a time to really consider this. So that's the first thing. Do you make it easy for people to talk about you? Because if you don't, you're missing out on an opportunity to get referrals, to get more exposure, to get more visibility. The second thing is really focus on being you. It's no good trying to be somebody else. And often we go through life trying to be somebody we're not, whether we do it subconsciously or consciously. It's really important to bring ourselves down to who we really are authentically. Who is it that we really strive to be because it's authentic to us? Those grounding pieces about our brand that make us who we are, our DNA. I have a model that I use called the espresso effect. And if I just briefly describe that to you, it's a model that I use in a lot of my programs for coaching or training. And if you think about an espresso machine and all the coffee beans that get thrown in at the top of the machine, they all represent a moment in time, a pivotal moment in your life, a challenging time, something your mom said when you were small, your first day at school, your first job, all these things that mean something to us. If we throw them all in at the top end, they then get ground and percolated around to produce our values, our drivers, our beliefs, our standards, our talents, our strengths. That's what happens with all of the experiences we have. And in the tiny condensed cup underneath, in its purest essence, that's our brand statement, those few sentences that really describe who you are. And that's what I would really urge you to just spend a little bit of time on, is thinking about who you really are, what it is that defines you. And the espresso effect can really help that. And the third thing I want to share with you is be consistent. Be consistent with everything you do. And if I just share the screen for a moment here, we can see the pearl and the oyster. And I often think our personal brand is very much like a pearl and an oyster, because it grows organically over a period of time as it gradually evolves. Layers get added to it, gradually grows. And that's exactly the same as your brand or your reputation. Everything you do every day, from every email you send, every text message, every remote conversation, every video call, every presentation, everything you do every day, every social media post is adding a layer to your personal brand, and it's gradually growing. If we don't think about our brand enough consciously, we're never really quite sure whether it's adding weakening layers or whether it's really reinforcing the brand we want to be known for. But this image will help you to stay consistent and on track by thinking every day about the layers that you're adding with everything that you do, with every interaction that you have. And let's take that off the screen for you. And part of your visibility and your consistency is really around social media. And a lot of people who speak about personal branding today often focus in on 90% of your personal brand being about your digital brand. And I really don't believe that's the case, hence my first 2 points about being yourself and differentiating. But really our social media presence is our digital brand and our digital reputation. So we do need to be aware of that as well. LinkedIn is just one thing I'm going to mention now that you really should have a consistent profile on. Make sure, if you do nothing else from what I say today, check out your LinkedIn profile, make sure it's current, make sure it says what you want it to say about you individually, authentically. Make sure your photo is up to date and it really represents who you are today. It's a window into your brand. So lots of tips on LinkedIn that I could share, but time doesn't allow me to today. But do connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you all. I would love to see your LinkedIn profiles. If anyone wants me to add a tip or two, I'm very happy to do that. But do think about your visibility, not just on social media, but generally. And something I want to offer you to you today is I do have a whole set of visibility tips to help you build your brand. And if you would like those tips, please drop me an email. And I'm just going to share with you on the screen now the details so that you can get in touch with me should you want to. So connect with me on LinkedIn. Just look me up, Lesley Everett, and Everett is E-V-E-R-E-T-T. My email address is there, lesley@walkingtall.org. So drop me an email for those visibility tips. And you've got a link there to my public programs that I do, obviously remotely, all around the world, all the time. So you've got some access to that as well, and to fuller programs. So I just want to say thank you to the organizers for today, and to Rose Sang, who asked me to provide this short video for you. I hope it's been useful. Have a great conference, and I hope to meet some of you in person very soon. Take care.